Hello everyone, it's me, Coffee Stitcher. It is the second Sunday in January. How's everybody? Awesome, that's really good to hear. I had a fairly good week overall. I was not as productive stitchy-wise as I would have liked to have been. I was really lethargic this week, and I think it was because it was the first week back after 2 holiday weeks, and there's still sickness going around the department. My schedule flip-flopped a little this week on me, too. So I really didn't get quite as much done as I had hoped I would get done. But by the same token, then I look at what I did, and I'm actually fairly happy with what I did. So take from that what you will. One of those kinds of days. Anyhow, so we've got Q&A. There's, again, no haul this week, but there will be haul most likely next week, because, the Ship's Manor Fabric of the Month will be here. Possibly my nest egg will be here. And then depending on what gets planned with, because my dad's birthday is next weekend, so I'm going to Stitch Niche either for the start of the Sal on Sunday, which is his birthday, if he doesn't want to do anything on that day, but if he does, then I'm going to have to go Stitch Niche on Saturday. So it's going to be one of the two. Yes. So, got my wig smoked this week, which cut out most of the blonde highlights, and now I see just how gray I really am, and that's a little terrifying. But that's okay. Moving right along. Alright, so let's start with the Q&A. Vicky asks, have you ever used the DMC Etoile floss? And if so, when? I've heard of it and was just wondering, is it easy to work with? And yes, I have, and I can actually show you a little bit of it here. Although it's a little harder to see on this fabric. But I am using it in my Nutcracker. Let's see how well I can do. So, I used it in the castle. Just getting it to focus is not doing quite as well as I wanted. So it's a little hard to tell. I also used it up here. You can sort of see it in this ornament here. I actually find it very easy to use. It hasn't really been bad to knot or tangle on me. I also used it, have been using it a lot in Universal Monsters. It's a, I find it very easy to use. It is 6-strand. It is cotton. I highly recommend it, actually. It's great if you want to give something sort of a subtle sparkle. It's not going to be good for, oh my gosh, bling-a-bling-a-bling. Like, I would not have used it for the Emerald City in the Owl Forest Wizard of Oz pattern. But for something like a Soda Stitch or something where you want it to just be a delicate shine, it's really good for that. Okay, GMOS has several questions for me. The first, would you ever show the 40 that are on hold now and talk about why they are on hold? To clarify a little, it's not that I actually have 40 on hold and 25 that are active. I have about 40 total, of which about 15 are on hold. And most of those are either because they weren't calling to me quite right at this moment, or they were ones that I had worked and just burned myself out on. That's mostly why they're on hold. There's maybe one or two where it's like I made a big error and I'm angry at it, but by and large it's mostly just these were the ones I wanted to work on. Her next question was, which house ended up winning in last year's Magical Stitches? The answer was Slytherin, but Hufflepuffs, we took second place, y'all, because we're awesome. Ooh. My husband just poked his head. Yeah, Hufflepuff's rule. We placed second overall and for the book too, so that was pretty awesome. I like to think it was my doing. It may not have been, but I like to think it was. Her next question was, I'm pondering joining Magical Stitches this year, but I have no interest in reading the books they chose. Can a person still participate if they have no interest in the books? The answer is yes. All of the assignments, all of the tasks, all of that are all completely optional. The homework each week is going to tie into the books because that's the official series you're reading. But there is an alternative stitching option, an alternative reading option. There's all sorts of different things you can do. And there are people I know for sure in Wilderness Lodge who said, I'm not interested in the books, but I'm going to contribute to the group things where you build the parks. So that, hopefully that sort of helps explain. There's all sorts of challenges. There's one that we're referring to as Siri, the Stitch It, Read It, where, let's see, did I save mine for that or no? That may be just in the group. Let's see, Read It or Stitch It. Story, file. So Read It or Stitch It, it's, they've got different levels. So for, just about each park has its own separate level for, you've got 500 stitches that you're supposed to do. So you work on one for Main Street USA, so a project that looks like it's set in a small town. Tomorrowland, set in the future. So there's all sorts of different challenges. There's a couple of spell out challenges, I think. So there is a lot of options if you don't want to just read those specific books. So I hope that answers your question. Trisha, I had to go and order it too, so don't worry. Lois Hogue asks, have I seen the Linens and Threads Mystery Salve, Friends and Family? I have. Thematically, it seems very similar to the Modern Folk Embroidery, and I liked it better, so that's the one I'm doing. Let's see. Kitty Van Pier says, you said for every 3 finishes you'll have 1 new start. Then a question popped up in my head. What about Stitch Mania? Are you planning to participate? What about the 3 finishes, 1 new start at that moment? As of now, I'm not going to be participating in Mania. I didn't last year because I have enough new starts throughout the year that I'm not all that upset if I don't participate. So I'm not participating in Mania probably again this year. I will cheer on anyone who does, but I'm most likely not. That being said, I'm really struggling with this 3 finishes, 1 new start thing, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. My puffs have had to talk me off the ledge a couple of times. Because, well, we'll get to that when we get to homework. All right, and that is the end of the Q&A. I forget what the sign for and is. I know that's Q and I know that's A, but I don't remember what the sign for and is. I knew it at one point. All right, so like I said, there's no haul this week, so we've got homework. Okay, so the first thing I did was I worked on City Mouse and Country Mouse. First for an extra credit homework, because we had to stitch on something with one of 4 specific elements, not earth, wind, fire, water. It was related to the book. So in my case, I chose cloud, because there is a cloud in the design. So here is the full design. And then I was enjoying it so much that I just decided I'd keep working on it. So I actually did it for 3 of the 4 homework assignments, which is why there's not going to be quite as much to show you this week in some instances. But again, here's the pattern. See, there's a little cloud back there. So, and this is from Fables and Fairy Tales to Cross Stitch by Veronica and Ginger. I'm doing it with the called for colors on 28 count Weeks Dye Works gingham linen and light khaki. But here's where I got. So I got both of the mice done. And I named the mouse in the top hat Francois. And I named the little mouse in the kerchief Fleur, because they're French, apparently. That's as far as I got. So I did a good project. So the mice are done minus their back stitching. And then I started on the leaves. So that's where I got to on that. So that counted as 3 of my homework. So I just did straight, which I already team penalty stitch, but I just did straight penalty stitches because I was enjoying that so much. All right. So then I did 200 on black for Jack's Halloween Dream, which finished the H, the P, and the Y in Happy. And then I did a couple of more stitches for the Cinderella's Castle Challenge. So that's where I got. I discovered this late. I'm a half stitch off over here. So for picture purposes, and I didn't realize it until I didn't realize it quick enough to fix it. I will the next time I work on it. It's only about 10 stitches that I've got to undo, so it's not a lot. I just got off by half a stitch. But there we go. Look at that, getting close. So the next time I work on it, I have a feeling I will probably finish the first part. Because I'm about halfway on the top, where what's going to be the big thing is going to be those ghosts. They're going to be a little bit of a beast. But then we'll be ready to move on to part 2, which is exciting. So those are what I worked on for homework. And then for the other extra credit, I got, and I'm very proud of this, I got some actual good work in on Words to Live by Tiny Modernist. So I did it for 2. We had to stitch on something with a moon and something that related to a hurricane. And so for the hurricane, I did 300 because part 2 has a rainbow and it has rain. And those are both involved with hurricanes. And then the one with the moon, there was a moon in part, whichever this is, part 5. So I got myself some good progress in on that. So here's where I'm at. So we got some mountains in place. We got that yellow banner largely done. We got a little bit of a start in on the hot air balloon. So probably going to, because I looked at, and I think this one's really good for homework challenges because it's so dense. Shockingly dense was my phrase on in the group meeting on Friday night. That it really, doing it for extra credit, that really does give me good, like, progress, and it keeps me motivated on it. So, and this is on Freya from Under the Sea Fabrics. Jack's Halloween Dream is on Brigid from Under the Sea Fabrics. So, all right, so that is what I worked on this week. So for next week, well, today, I spun the wheel and it landed on the Leslie Tier Wizard of Oz. So we're going to get a new page start in on that. So we'll start in on our Scarecrow. So that'll be exciting. Yeah. So we'll start in on Scarecrow. See what happens. Yeah. See how far we get. Alright, so Scarecrow. Alright, so next week's homework. The first one we're supposed to work on is stitch on a piece that you are unable to start by someone in Magical Stitches or another virtual group. Now, the problem with that is, they want us to be as specific as possible about being enabled, which is sometimes problematic because I'm largely the enabler. So I really struggled to try and find a piece, and I couldn't find one. I've got a new start that I could do, because it was actually like, oh, I saw this in the Wilderness Lodge chat, that's why I bought it. But I really don't want to do a new start when I know I'm going to have one on the 18th or 19th, and I know I've got one. Oh, that's the other thing. Stitching Book Club starts on the 25th. Three Musketeers is available for pre-sale. I've already done it. I'm going to do the mini on this one since I'm still working on the large for Pride and Prejudice. So I'm just going to do the mini Three Musketeers. But, yeah. So I know I'm going to have 2 starts within about 2 weeks. So I really don't want to start anyone. So I spun the wheel and it landed on Paradise Lost. So I'm hoping that this will actually work in my favor a little bit because I'm doing a new page start on it. So we'll be starting what's actually technically page 1, which is over here. So here it is. Ta-da! So here's where I'm at. I'm looking forward to starting. I'll finish up the angel wing for sure, and the bird. I don't actually think there's a lot left of the bird. I think it's just a little bit of its beak. Or no, not its beak. I think it's just a little bit of its tail. Yeah, there's just a little bit of tail left. Teehee. There's not a whole lot of the wing left. And then we'll start in on the tree. So that's exciting. It'll be nice to work on this one again. Or work on something different, really, on this one. So, yes. Alright, so that's going to be what I'm doing for the first one. I'm going to do everything I can to not do a new start. What will help as well is I don't have the Disneyland map kitted up. And I can show you all what it looks like here in a moment. But I need my iPad for this. Let's see. Then we're supposed to stitch on something you think is delicate or dainty. So I'm going to work on the Soda Stitch Nutcracker. And I don't know which part yet I'm going to start on. Since I've got the border done, I could start just about anywhere. But I'm saying it's delicate or dainty because of this little lacy border and how delicate the back stitch is. Pardon me. So, but last we left off, I had finished the outer, the lacy border around the center. So, not sure which part I'll pull out next. I may try and do one of the biscuit squares. That would be the most logical thing to work on. Come on. Okay. Then stitch on something related to the great outdoors or camping. So I'm going to work on summer patchwork. So here that is. And I think I will probably, since I started it already, let's flip over so you can see the full picture. I think I'm going to work on the bird and the ladybug section this time. So, so I really like Susan Bates's designs. I wish she sold them individually, but apparently she doesn't. So, yeah. All right. Okay. And then the last one is stitch on something that could be hiding a trap door. Explain. So I'm gonna work on with the needle. This is on Rosemerta from Under the Sea Fabrics. Here's where I'm at. And what I'm saying could be hiding the trapdoor is there's a, this is a little bit of a stretch. So, and again, I'll be doing penalty stitches. But there's a house and a barn, and I'm saying that there is a trapdoor under a hay bale in the barn. So, that is this week's homework. Bleak. All right. So, and then as promised, let's see. Nope, that's... Oh, poop. I thought I had a picture of it. But clearly I don't. Let's see. I can show you on Etsy, though. It is available on Etsy. There's two different versions of it. This one looks like it was charted better. I'm fairly certain it is fan art, but I couldn't find who the original artist was to make sure it was okay with them. And I did a lot of research trying to find it, but that's the map. So, yeah. Oh, it's so very tempting to start on it. So very, very tempting. But I don't need to. Yes. So, anyhow, I think that's actually it for me today. So I'm going to go work on my Leslie Tier Wizard of Oz. Start in on my 6th page of it, which really and truly is kind of a half page. It's not a full page, because a good chunk of it is already done. But still, that's what I'm going to work on. We'll see how far I get today. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day and a terrific week, and I'll see y'all next time.